Hello. The goal of this lesson is just to see some more examples of how to do a sketch of a polynomial. Again, I'm not looking for what your graphing calculator can spit out. These graphs are usually extremely tall, and so I don't want to see things like, let me show you. I'll get this a lot. You just see what they saw on the graphing calculator at Desmos, and it just looks like this. You don't see the peaks at all. That's not what I want. I don't want to see that. I want to see a rough sketch. That's why the y-axis is not labeled. And I really want you to be thinking about what these things mean. So let's look at this function, h of x. So the first thing that you want to figure out, the first couple of things, the degree and the leading coefficient. If you have those two things, then you can figure out the end behavior. And all we really need are the ends and the zeros and what those shapes are, and we can draw the whole function. So the degree, again, if you take the exponents of all the factors and you add them up. If there's no exponent written on the factor, then we know that exponent is 1. So if I add those up, 1 plus 2 plus 1, I get 4 as my degree. All that really matters is that it's even. So either it's going to be like x squared. Either both ends will be up or both ends will be down. Depends on the leading coefficient. Since the leading coefficient is negative and it's -1, we just don't write the 1. Since the leading coefficient is negative, that's going to flip upside down. And so just like x squared, if we flipped it upside down, both of our ends are going to be down. So we know that on the ends, they're both going to be pointing down. Now we just need to figure out what's happening in the middle. So I need my zeros. Take each factor and figure out what x would have to be to make that 0. So my first factor, x minus 8. If x was 8, that would give me 0. My second factor, x minus 2. If x was 2, that would give me 0. And my third factor, x plus 4. If x was -4, that would give me 0. So those are my zeros. Then I need to figure out the shape at each 0, and that's the multiplicity. That's based on the exponent. So multiplicity just means the shape, or how many times we have this factor. So x minus 1 has an exponent or a multiplicity of 1. So it's going to have a linear shape. It's going to go straight through. X minus 2 has an exponent of 2. So that's a multiplicity of 2. That's going to have a parabola shape. It's going to just touch like a parabola at that value. And then x minus 4 has an exponent of 1, so that's a multiplicity of 1. That's going to be linear. So I'm going to go to where x is -4. There's one of my zeros. Go to where x is 2. There's my other 0. 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's my third 0. I know the end behavior. Both ends are going to be down. And then I'm just going to work my way from left to right. The -4 comes first, and that one's linear. So when I go up from here and go to -4, I'm going to go straight through to give that linear shape at that 0. If I just zoom in on that 0, that looks like a line. Okay? Then I'm going to have to come back down, and when I get to 2, it needs to look like a parabola. So I just want to touch at 2. Remember, I can't cross or touch anywhere but at those 3 points. So I'm going to come down and just touch right at 2. So if I zoom in on that 0, right around that 0, that looks like a parabola. Then I know that at 8, it should be linear. So when I come back down, I'm going to go straight through. And if I zoom in on that 0, that looks like a line. So that's my rough sketch. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, degree of this one. Add up my exponents. Now, again, it might help to rewrite that x squared so that it looks like a factor. So sometimes people find it useful. I'm going to write that negative as -1, and I'm going to rewrite x squared as x minus 0 squared. You can use plus 0, it doesn't matter because it's 0. Sometimes it helps people to see that because now it looks like the other factors, x plus or minus something. If you don't need to write that, that's fine, but you just can't forget that that's one of your factors. So if I add up my exponents, My degree, 2 plus 3 plus 1, that is 6. So we're going to have another even one. Either both ends will be up or both ends will be down. My leading coefficient is -1. So both ends are going to be down. Now I need my zeros. Okay, in order to make x minus 0, 0, x would have to be 0. In x minus 4, x would have to be 4. And in x plus 6, x would have to be -6. My exponent on 0 is a 2, so that's going to have a parabola shape. Could be facing up, could be facing down. Okay, on 4, it is a 3, so it's going to have a cubic shape. Again, could be facing up or could be facing down. And then on 6, the multiplicity is 1, so it's going to have a linear shape at -6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one of my zeros. And then at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. My ends, I know, are both going to be down. And now I just have to connect. So let's start with the -6. That one was linear. So I'm going to go straight through. Then the 0 comes next. That one was quadratic. So I'm going to touch, and it's going to look like a parabola. And then my last one is cubic. So I'm going to go through, but I need to have that cubic looking curve. It doesn't have to be super dramatic. It just can't look linear. So looks like a line here. Looks like a parabola here. And looks like a cubic function here. Now I'm going to have you try this one, and I'll make it multiple choice for you. See if you can pick the correct graph. If you got it right, you can go ahead and move on. If you didn't get it right, pause the video here and take a look at the explanation and see if you can figure out your mistake. And here's another question. Give it a try. If you didn't get it right, pause it now and take a look at this explanation. If you did get it right, great. Here's some additional practice problems. You can pause the video and try these. And I'm going to go ahead and click ahead to show you the key. So if you want to try these first, hit pause now. And here's the key for the first 4 problems. And here's the key for the last 2 problems.